Coming from school as a young guy, you want to have your own personal stuff. You don't want to ask mom and dad for stuff. So I wanted to have my own little brands. You wanted to have your own little shoes, buy your own little stuff, your little colognes, etc. So I wanted to pick up a part-time job. And my mom said, hey, you're big enough now. Hi, my name is Jason Hadley. I'm originally from Santa Cruz, but I live in Trin City area. I am a food and beverage hospitality manager. I've been in the industry over 22 years, and I'm presently working at the Bricks Hotel in Cascade. It's an autograph collections hotel for Marriott Hotel in Trinidad and Tobago. So my first job was at KFC, and that was in Maraval. It's one of the first franchises to come to Trinidad and Tobago. I got a job there. My first job was actually sweeping the outside in the car park, which is called merchandising the front, wiping down the glasses, those front glass panes, cleaning the countertops and the restaurant tables, sweeping out inside and mopping and cleaning the bathroom facilities as well. So that was my first job, and I was very excited about it, to be quite honest. Very, very excited. Restaurants is usually a happy place. There's a lot of laughter when you go into a restaurant, and you can hear the energy in the room. So I was elated, to say the least. So I stayed in the industry. So I didn't just do a quick fix to get a salary. I actually wanted to stay in the industry. It's something that grew on me very quickly. So I moved from KFC and I went into a restaurant. There's fine dining and there's fast food. So you want to step up and get into a bit of the fine dining. I started off as a waiter, as actually an assistant waiter, because they said I wasn't ready to actually serve customers at tables until I learned the entire menu and the process of service. And then I had excitement about the bar, because bartenders seemed to be the hip guys. They were the ones lighting drinks on fire, doing things with flair, interacting with guests later on in the night. They had the fun people there. That's where I wanted to be. So I quickly drew closer to the bar. And then I had an opportunity. I was learning from the bar, and the guy said, listen, you come and be my barback. So I didn't understand what a barback was at the time, but a barback was someone coming to learn from the bartender but assisting him. So you're the go get the ice, go get the stuff, go pack the fridge at night, go pull out the stuff, clean up, go wash up the wares in the bar. But that came with an opportunity to learn, because I was in the circle of the bartender all the time. And I just started to absorb information. I took that opportunity and just absorbed information. One day, the gentleman got ill, and he never returned to the job. And this happened on a Friday. Some emergency happened, and the place was packed. And they were like, where do we get a bartender? Where do we get? And then they said, Jason, they turned to me, the owners, they said, you think you could handle it? I said, I'll do my best. And they said, we'll take that. So I jumped in the bar. I started making cocktails. I struggled through the night. I made it, though. We didn't have too many disgruntled customers or anything, but I wasn't as fast as I am now. But I was very excited about it. I just continued making cocktails. I didn't want to give up, and after that night, the owners applauded me for the efforts that I made to hold the night together. And they asked me if I wanted to take the position, because they found I was quite good at it, and I said yes. So it was all a learning process for me, and throughout the hospitality industry, and you move from fast food to fine dining to nightclubs to bars to hotels to resorts, you learn different aspects of hospitality, even within the food and beverage industry. So I worked with a very lovely lady, Miss Diane Cohen, and she really invests in young people, and we need more of that today, and I try to do the same. She really nurtured me, she pushed me, she inspired me, but Miss Cohen found it, fun at that point, or she found it the right timing to enter me into a culinary competition, local competition, which I didn't know anything about. So it was really a surprise to me. And one day she came and she said, well, Jason, I've entered you into a competition at the hotel school. It's all the bartenders throughout the country, the best of the best. I think you'll do very well. And she spoke very stern like that, but she smiled. And I said, I was like, what? What did you do? I said, when is this? And she's like, that's Friday. She said, don't worry, you'll be ready. I remember going up to the school. I had on a white shirt and a black pants with my black shoes on. I had one knife in a bag and an orange and a lime. That was it. I could never forget that. When I reached that competition, guys from Tobago, all the different top resorts, hotels, and they had on the waistcoat with a name badge and gold with garnish kits opening up on 3 levels, and they're talking about who was there last year and who did what. And I was like, I going back home. And I got a bit intimidated in the beginning, I must say. And then I just took something that I read before, and I found a quiet room inside of the hotel school while everybody was talking up. And I remember the scripture from King Solomon in Proverbs that says, humility goes before promotion and pride goes before destruction. And I went to the room and I opened the door and I went in the darkness of a room. The lights weren't on in the classroom. And I knelt down and I said, Lord, I need your guidance. It was a very short prayer. I got off the ground. I came back out. I wiped a little tears because I'm very passionate about what I do. And I went last in the competition. I was the last person to go and compete. And lo and behold, when I went on stage to compete, everything just came naturally. I just started to be it was creativity flowing like electricity. I didn't know where it came from. It was something that I'd never experienced before. I won the entire competition, to make a long story short. And everybody was saying, yeah, I know you were the black horse in the race, I know that. And everybody started to commend me. And I thought that was it. I went back to the hotel. Ms. Cohen commended me, and she said, great job, Jason. She said, you came first. I said, thank you for the opportunity. And she said, well, you now have to prepare. I said, prepare for what? She said, well, you're going to Miami. I said, I'm going to where? Now, that time, your boy don't even have a visa. So I don't know nothing about going to Miami. And she said, I said, Ms. Cohen, I don't have a visa. She said, no, the country will organize everything for you. So I did not know that the winner of that was ended up on the culinary team for Trinidad and Tobago. And I ended up on the culinary team. And it was an honor to be there. I was the youngest. And to me, I just wanted to learn more and more. So this is where the real show began. We were heading to Miami. You had to be ready. Ready or not, here we come. So Team Trinidad and Tobago is going to Miami. Jason Hadley is the youngest guy on the team. Didn't know he was a black horse in a competition that he was entered into unknowingly, won, and then now he's going into this big show internationally. So I'm in the big show now. We're in Miami. We touched down. So we get to this hall, this big hall, and it's huge. It can hold 5,000 people. This is how big this room is, and it's a gala event. So I'm seeing lights, cameras, action. I'm seeing photographers. I'm seeing a lot of movement, a lot of action, media companies, etc., from all around the world, because it's a big international event. I go in and I apply the same thing. I said, Lord, you first. And I went in. I did my best. And I actually came back with 3 medals for Trinidad and Tobago. I came back with 2 gold medals and a silver, and I almost won my category, which was the bartender of the year. When I came back to Trinidad, we were nominated for the Hummingbird Medal, which was going beyond what I thought it would have. I did receive a prestigious Prime Minister's Award for culinary excellence. I could remember it like yesterday because it's stained on my memory. My worst experience, we were flooded with a function. This was at Davis's 100. I never forget it. We had to put extra tables in to accommodate the people without turning them away. So it was very, very cramped. So the walking space between the banquet tables was very small. So a waiter had to squeeze his way with a big tray coming through. So in the restaurant industry, there's something called a la mode. So it's like dessert time. So you take the brownie and you put the brownie and then you put a scoop of ice cream on top of brownie, right? That's a la mode. But in this instance, it's supposed to be in a bowl, but they ran out of bowls. So they put some on some side plates. So I was going through this with all of these people waiting on their food, their dessert, and I have this big tray, and all I can recall is the whole room laughing. What I didn't realize is what they were laughing at. And when I turned around, the tray that I had, which is a big oval tray with about 6 plates in it, one of the ice cream desserts was on a side plate, and that ice cream skated off and fell on a man's head who was a bald head guy at glasses and skate into his glasses. He laughed it off in the beginning, but what could he do? The whole room was in laughter. And I didn't want to come back out for the rest of the night. And I remember the manager coming to me and saying, hey, the owner, he said, hey, you got to go back out there. These things happen. It's not, she said to me, it's not if it happens. It's when it happens. How do you deal with it? Do you run? You want to go outside and run and hide and don't come back and just give up your job for that one situation? Or do you want to use that to your advantage and go back out and see how you can change that negative circumstance into a positive one? And this one's a bit personal. I mean, I remember it because it cut deep, I come from a family of insurance people. My granddad was a manager of insurance company. My father was one of the biggest insurance brokers and managers for Caribbean home insurance. My brother was in the same industry as well. And I know my father always wanted us to be in the insurance industry. So when I chose my career path to be in the hospitality, at that time, the hospitality sector was not really looked upon as a major industry. So I remember, speaking with my father. He said, why don't you want to go into banking and work in the bank or work in insurance? And I said, no, I want to really go into restaurants because I like working with things that are tangible. And in insurance or in these other fields, it's intangible. You're signing documents. I'm selling you something that you can't really feel. But when I go to a restaurant, you could touch, taste, feel, smell, and I like that because I'm very artistic. And I didn't really get a favorable response from my dad at that time. But many years later, when I did excel in what I did, went back to look for my dad, and we laid on his bed on our backs. And we were just talking casually. He said, I want to tell you something. I'm very proud of where you reached in your career. And I know I didn't like it in the beginning, but it's what you love, and that's most important, and you have excelled. And that really, really touched me before my father passed. It was like I got his final blessing. If I could tell myself, my younger self, something, I would tell my younger self a few things. One would be put God first in everything. 2, I would tell my younger self, surround yourself with very positive, successful people. If I'm around people that are always talking about ideas and business, most probably I'm going to be talking about ideas and business. So I would say surround yourself with people that have a positive energy, dreamers, go-getters, achievers, people that are goal-oriented, people that are inspired, people that want to do great things, even if they're not there yet. But surround yourself with those people. When I say surround yourself with people, positive people, go-getters, it doesn't necessarily mean surrounding myself physically with them because it may not be possible to do so. But you know what I did when I was younger? Around in my area, or the ghetto area where I lived, what I did at one point to break out of that was I went and I bought a Walkman. Those days they didn't have CD players, so it was a Walkman. And I put it in my ears, and I bought cassettes because it may be impossible based on circumstances to be around the people to get that information to you or to inspire you physically. But you can do it once it goes through your ears. It's what you hear. Because out of the abundance of your heart is what you're going to speak. And what's in your heart is based on what you hear. Who's speaking to you, or who are you listening to? Now I've learned that at an older age. So now when I get up in the morning, I allow certain people to speak into my life through YouTube. So I let inspirational speakers speak to me every morning while I'm getting breakfast and preparing myself to go to work. And when I go home tonight, I do the same, because I flood myself with that. And out of the abundance of what I gain from all of them, I act upon it. I would say to young people that finding your purpose sometimes is not an easy ABC, a 1, 2, 3 equation. It's not that easy. Sometimes you stumble into it. Sometimes you know it from the get-go. From the time you're born, you know exactly what you want to do. God bless people like that. But there are some people that would learn it along the way, through tribulations, through trials, through tests, through working different jobs. You may be a plumber and realize this plumbing not for me, or this is not for me. But do what you love. From the time you find something that you love, it's no longer work. You don't go to work. It's not a task anymore. You're excited to go to that job. You're excited to learn more about that the next morning. Anything you love takes the weight off of anything that you do. So find what you love, and it will never be a challenge to you. It will always be a new opportunity that you're excited to go to every day. I think every position within the hospitality sector is important. The dishwasher is equally as important to the general manager of the hotel, because it all functions as one unit. Because the general manager would be praised for his hotel's efficiency, because the dishwasher is washing those wares fast enough to turn over those functions in the function room. So sometimes, people think that some positions are menial and some are more important. But I would say everyone is important. But for the ones that are not really advertised or looked up, people look up to, I would say they're critical, because they're all learning components if you're working your way up to management. Because the best manager that can manage any establishment is one who has worked in the departments himself or herself. And I would call out to any young person, don't look down on those jobs. Take those jobs, learn those jobs, and then develop from those jobs, and you'll get opportunities that will carry you up further. But the experience that you have learned down on the ground will be a great asset to you when you're up on the top. I'm very passionate about what I do. I'm extremely passionate. Where that normal person would stop, passion drives you surpass that. So you go the extra mile to get the job done, and that shows on the job completion. I think I've been blessed with a lot of creativity, not just in food and drinks, but in how to market a product, how to have someone market themselves, And 3, I would think one of my greatest strengths is actually teaching. And that's something that I want to do in my latter part of my career, is taking what I've learned throughout the years and, teaching the youths and anyone else who wants to learn, whether old or young. I would say one of my setbacks as a younger person was actually procrastination. I would say, I want to do this, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. And I would set the goal, and it never followed through. So procrastination. As I got older, that kind of dwindled out the window, because now I'm a go-getter. I'm forcing myself to go get it done in a shorter space of time when I set the goal. For the young folks, a takeaway, I would say to you this. I have started in industry from the ground up, literally from the ground up. Starting as a janitor, cleaning the toilets in KFC. And I've seen people laugh at people who are doing those jobs now. And I've worked my way all the way up to being, a director of operations for food and beverage in prestigious hotels. As people see it as being a waiter or bartender, but it's really, you're a host. And you're a host not just for the restaurant, not just for the establishment, but for your entire country. You are hosting someone, and you have that opportunity to showcase everything. The one thing I would tell any youth is find what you love and do what you love. Do it with all your heart, with all your passion inside. And when you do that, everything else will fall in place. You will be on course. And it's that simple for me. Because you could try everything else that you don't love. You could be forced into doing big studies and spend large amounts of money and still find it difficult when you're doing that. But find what you love and it'll all fall in line. You'll be on course.